My name is Donnie Norton, Deputy Director of Event Facilities. At this time, I'd like to welcome Mayor Mike Melise to the podium.
Thank you, Donnie. Welcome, everybody. It's great to see everybody here today on this great day. I mean, what a beautiful walkway we have here. I want to thank you all for being here this afternoon as we celebrate the opening of this much-needed pedestrian bridge. And I'd like to welcome Councilor Rich Coughlin is here, Councilor at Large. District 1 Councilor Pascal Berger is here. Representative James Murphy is here. Senator Patrick O'Connor is here with us. Andrew from Conservation is here. Bob Luongo, Director of Planning, is here also. Former Mayor Bob Headland is here. Also, I'd like to thank Steve Riley for putting this together today, and also Donnie Norton and George for orchestrating all of this here. And I know we have Allie O'Connor from Weymouth Youth Soccer here. Welcome. Again, this is a great day here for the pedestrian bridge. In 2018, Weymouth completed the $6.45 million project to improve the field behind us here. It's a true showplace out there. As a result, Lovell Field has become a premier playing facility of the South Shore, drawing nearly year-round players of tournaments, attracting thousands of visitors annually. We soon found out that parking was an issue here. In 2021, the town signed an agreement with the MBTA to utilize the lot of the East Weymouth commuter rail. The lot was to overflow parking during the weekend for tournaments, games, and events to remediate the issue of parking. While the MBTA deal provided more parking, and getting the fields to require a quarter-mile walk for people to go around through Jackson Square was difficult for families carrying kids and all the stuff that they need for these games. They started to explore other options for shorter, more direct routes for families. In 2018, the town worked to analyze options for the bridge connection across the Herring Run Brook between Lovell Field and the MBTA lot. In August 2019, Weymouth Recreation Department went before the Community Preservation, requesting $182,000 in funding for the design and permitting of this bridge. As it went before the Town Council also in 2019 for approval, the council was in full support of this. Serving on the Town Council for 25 years, I served 20 years as chairman of the council's recreation committee, so our town's recreation facilities were always very important to me. In July 2024, the town selected MAS Building and Bridge of Norfolk to construct the bridge. The bridge was constructed off-site. It was installed via crane to prevent any interference with the herring migration. The bridge was officially installed in the spring of 2025, and here we are today. The bridge is more than just a bridge to access the fields. It will be a big part of incorporating the project that's before us here with Jackson Square, which will be taking shape very shortly in the fall. So that should be kicking off, I think, in about 2 weeks. So it'll be great to incorporate this walkway for all the businesses that are going in over here and the housing that's going in, 200 units. So it's more than just a walkway. It's got a big purpose. So I welcome you all here today, and thank you.
Please welcome to the podium former Mayor Bob Headland.
Okay, bear with me. It's been 2 months. I'm a little rusty. I haven't been in front of a podium or a microphone, but appreciate the opportunity to speak. I'm going to fill in a little bit of history here that is very interesting. I think during my tenure as mayor, with the great work of some of the grant writers we had and department heads, we secured, if you include the school project, over $100 million in grants in the 9.5 years I was mayor. And the grant that was secured here to start this project was probably the craziest one of all, which is why I'm going to enjoy speaking today. As Mike pointed out, the field project that we completed here, which is quite a story in and of itself, how we were able to finance that, turned out to be a tremendous success because of the great work of everyone involved in our soccer programs here in town. And obviously the parking situation developed and impacted the merchants in Jackson Square. So we decided to reach out to the T. Steve Riley had to do all the day-to-day with the T to negotiate that agreement, and that was done. And as Mike said, the combination of people who had kids to carry and didn't want to walk the distance, combined with those that are too lazy to walk, we didn't get much use here. So then we started looking at the possibility of getting a pedestrian bridge here, working with our Conservation Commission, Andrew, George, and everybody to see if that was feasible. Then we started looking at the financing of it. And being aggressive in seeking state grants, as we always were, we looked at what programs might be out there. And there was for instance, a small bridge program that was created when I was actually on the Transportation Committee in the legislature. We looked at that, it didn't qualify. And around that time, I heard from a former colleague of mine, Matt Amarillo, who works for CDR McGuire. Matt, give a wave. And he drove 2 hours to be here today, I might add, on a Friday afternoon. Matt was in town to talk to John McLeod and our engineering department about what their services are and what they provide. And I told him about some of the infrastructure work we had here in town that we were looking at. And ironically, 3 of those projects were right here in Jackson Square. The bridge project here, the Commercial Street Bridge, which is really a culvert, and then the bridge over on Commercial Street. Bob, correct me if I have my logistics wrong on all 3, but the bridge by the post office, the culvert in front of Nico's, and this. So we took a little walk around Jackson Square, and I told Matt, I said, I'm not quite sure where this fits. It doesn't qualify under the state small bridge program. And he said, well, let me see what I can come up with. And he alerted us to a program that was, I guess, fairly new that we weren't aware of within the MBTA. That was to create, the goal was to create access to MBTA parking, or MBTA facilities. Now, this is kind of interesting that we want to create access to a park from an MBTA facility, but not necessarily the other way around. So we started that discussion, and it was a little gray area, shall we say. But when we made our case, we talked about not only the pedestrian access to the MBTA, but a big hook for the state was they considered this a link to our Back River Trail system. So we have the existing pathway that is over here. It's actually right here. You can get to Jackson Square, and hopefully Recreation at some point is going to reclaim this and fix this up so that we're in compliance with the grant, Steve, and have this path work all the way down towards the river. But we showed them maps and linking this up to get under the Wharf Street Bridge, to get to the Durante property and to get to the other side. That helped us qualify for this grant. So it took, shall we say, a little bit of smoke and mirrors, a couple of direct conversations that I had with Lieutenant Governor Polito at the time, and it brought us across the finish line. So Matt really was key in helping us to get out of the gate, out of the starting gate on this to make it work. And it's funny because when I was pitching this to the powers that be, we talked about access to the fields. We talked about access to the Back River Trail system. One of the things that I never even thought of, and I don't know why, because this used to be my neighborhood, I got a couple of compliments from parents of kids who go to Pingree and talked about how it made their walk to the school so much easier. So I guess it's a threefer when you consider that, but I didn't think of that at the time. So it looks beautiful. Everyone that had a hand in this, it came out great. The fence is a nice touch. We thank George Loring and his colleagues on conservation that are here for their assistance. I know we had to address some of their concerns about shading and other things like that. But at the end, we got a beautiful project. Great day to be here. And thank you all for everyone. I know that they're all going to get, everyone else that's here that had a hand in it is going to get recognized. So thanks for coming out and thanks for making it work.
Thank you, Bob. We're going to have Steve Riley come up now. He has to say a few words. Director of Recreation. Bob, want to come up? Bob, you coming up, Bob?
All right, finally here. I say that because, it was, as has been mentioned, I think the success of the fields, we've used the phrase a lot with that, we're a victim of our own success. Immediately, we recognize the parking problem. So it's great that we're finally here and we're able to access the lot, and this has become a reality. It's kind of like a finishing touch. Early on, I was very excited when the fields were getting built. It was great. It was something that had been worked on by a lot of people for a very long time from the early, my early involvement with Weymouth Youth Soccer. So that part of the vision was realized, but then, it didn't come without headaches. I think it's exciting now to see this bridge coupled with the fields and then all the other things, the ancillary things which are now taking place in Jackson Square. I think it's a great fit for everybody. Just briefly want to thank a few people. I think Bob's probably going to thank some others as well. But some of our own in-house guys, our own DPW, the laborers park and tree department had helped out quite a bit on this. There was some initial tree clearing and all of that stuff. The sod, the fence, and all of that. They've been putting on some of the finishing touches. But our engineering department has been critical in getting a lot of this done. Working with CDR McGuire, working with Bill Scully, working with everybody, working with Mass Bridge, and setting the points and all of that stuff. So it couldn't have been done without Jay Donovan, without Jim McGrath and Ted Peterson. I think Jim's not here today, but the other guys, both Ted and Jay are here. So thank you to them very much. Who else? You get to do the rest of the things, right? All right, cool. All right, and Jeff Cummings from WETC told me I had to be brief because he had someplace else to be tonight. So, Bob Luongo.
Thank you. It's great to see Mayor Hedlund here. I'd just like to say one thing about Mayor Melise and former Mayor Hedlund. So I think Mayor Melise has adopted all the good attributes of former Mayor Hedlund. And I don't mean this in a bad way, nor any disrespect for the former mayor, but I'm glad Mayor-elect Melise has not adopted all the habits of former Mayor Hedlund. And that might be an insider joke, I'm not sure, but we love them both. No, I'm not going to elaborate. So a couple other people. First of all, it was hard getting all the money together, especially for the construction. So we did get CPA funds, and I want to thank the chairman of the Community Preservation Committee is here today, Chris Hannon. So I want to thank Chris and the committee. And by the way, Chris Hannon has been on that CPA committee since its inception, which is what, 20 years or? 19 years. So that's a record, I think. I also, want to thank Kimley Hahn. So Bill Scully's here from Kimley Hahn. They're the ones that actually designed the bridge. And so it was a little difficult. There was some good and bad about that as well, but we got through it, and I think we have a great bridge design, and obviously the construction. Mass Bridge did a great job. We have Chris Lucas here from Lucas Environmental. Chris, thank you. So they did all the environmental permitting. Believe it or not, for those who know the lingo, this had to go through a Chapter 91 license, believe it or not. We needed to get a Chapter 91 license, which takes forever to get, but we got through it as well. And is Paul here, Jay, structural engineer?
I haven't seen him.
No, okay. Also, we had, thanks to Jay Donovan, we would be able to get someone, not on the cheap, at a discount, basically, to be our structural engineer because budgets were tight. As you know, Ted Langio is very hard to get money out of. I don't think Ted's here today, but we want to thank Ted as well for whatever he's manipulated to get us to this point. I have no idea, but we got to it, and we got the funding and we got the project completed. So Paul was a good part of that as well. It saved us some money as we went through the process. I don't think this project had any change orders in the end. Am I correct in saying that, Jay? There were no change orders. We are very minimal on the bridge.
Very small.
Yeah, okay. All right, so that's about all I have to say. I want to thank everyone for coming here today. As the mayor said, this is one of the final links on the Back River Trail. So the Back River Trail was actually conceived around 2003. So it's actually a master plan, and we've been working on that master plan since 2003 to implement the whole trail system, which starts at the dam at Whitman's Pond and ends on Route 3A. The final link is really going to be connect the Iron Hill to Jackson Square, and then we'll have a completed, Back River Trail, and we can have a big celebration then, because it'll be well over 25 years since the inception of the trail. Thank you.
Just one more thing, I forgot to recognize somebody, and this will probably come as a shock to some people, knowing that my and his relationship isn't always the greatest, but I did want to recognize Phil Lofgren. He and I, got a little bit contentious during the conservation stuff and everything, but in retrospect, looking at the bridge that we ended up with, it was because of his advocacy on behalf of the environment, because of the herring and all of that stuff. There was things that, whether it was going to be a slotted finish on the bridge and just making sure stuff didn't get into the herring run. He's obviously very protective of his herring. So I did want to recognize and thank him for his advocacy on behalf of the Weymouth Herring Run.
Thank you, Steve. I didn't recognize District 6 Councilor Carrie Palazzo was here, and I want to thank Matt Amarello for being here too, for making the trip down today. State Rep James Murphy and Senator Patrick O'Connor have a presentation that they'd like to give.
Thanks, Mayor. I'll be very brief. Just wanted to say congratulations to the town. This is an awesome project from start to finish. When you look at what was here before to see what's here now, it really goes to show the transformation that's happening in this town under former Mayor Headland and now under Mayor Melise. And I'm just really excited about what the future holds for Jackson Square and this project and this development. And I'll pass it off to my colleague, Representative Murphy. But honestly, a big thank you to everyone who played a part in making this happen today.
Thank you, Patrick. It's an honor to represent all of you in the legislature along with Patrick. I'm Representative James Murphy, and I think it's a great thing, this bridge. Patrick and I not only support Weymouth Youth Soccer, my son Liam plays and Maeve plays, and so I'm down here every weekend battling parking, which there was never enough parking. I've played in Weymouth Youth Soccer. Hold on a second. The first league of youth soccer was in the 70s. There were 2 teams. There's about 20 kids that played. I played on the first team. We needed 20 parking spaces back then. That's all you needed up at the old Central Junior High. Weymouth's come a long way. There's about 1,000 kids in the program right now. So we went from 24 kids to 1,000 in the course of, I don't want to say how many years it was ago that I played. But this bridge is going to make a big difference to all the players that come from Weymouth, not only from Weymouth, but also the leagues in the other divisions that play down here that use these beautiful fields. I want to thank, Mayor Headland and Mayor Melise and all the crew that spoke here today. It took a lot of people to make this happen. It wasn't easy, but it's going to be a huge improvement for Jackson Square as it allows kids to get to the field, but also ties into the rest of the waterfront park that's been in the plan for so long. So I want to come down with Patrick and also recognize Allison White back here, who runs the program. I didn't recognize her not in a soccer outfit. Honestly, I've never seen her in anything other than sneakers and shorts and everything else. But I want to thank Allison and everything that Weymouth Youth Soccer has done for all the kids in our town. 1,000 kids this year, 1,000 kids almost every year. So can you imagine how many kids have come through the program, all with the unsung heroes of people like Allison White that do all the hard work every day. So thank you to her. And I want to also give this to the town of Weymouth from Patrick and I and Mayor Ron Mariano, the Speaker of the House. And it's a citation from the House and the Senate that says, "Be it hereby known to all that we congratulate the town of Weymouth in recognition of your commitment and upkeep and maintenance of Weymouth's athletic fields, parks, recreation spaces, and for the creation of this very important bridge. The entire membership extends its very best wishes for future good fortune and success in all endeavors. Signed this day by Senator Patrick O'Connor, Representative Ron Mariano, and myself, Representative James Murphy. And for all the kids in the town of Weymouth, you guys are going to say thank you from Weymouth Youth Soccer. Say thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
May, you want to say thank you?
Thanks.
Thank you very much, everybody. Congratulations, everybody. Mr. Mayor, this is for you, to all of your staff and to Mayor Headland and everybody's taken so much of their lives putting this together, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Patrick. And now we'll get Donnie over here to do the ribbon, do our ribbon cutting, what we're all here for. And again, thank you, everybody, for being here today. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just, we forgot, on Mass Building and Bridge is Sasank, Amber, and Tia. Are they here? I want to thank you guys. You did a great job. Mass Building and Bridge, they really have a lot of credit. There were no issues with it. Thank you guys very much.